Okay, I wrote this when the card was leaked, but now that it's been officially revealed, it's time to release the beast. Nixilis Captive Kingpin is a 4/3 legendary creature demon with flying and trample that costs 2 black-red. It says whenever one or more opponents each lose exactly 1 life, put a 1/1 counter on Nixilis Captive Kingpin. Exile the top card of your library. Until your next end step, you may play that card. So obviously, we're going wide with a bunch of 1/1 creatures that will make our opponents lose 1 life. Unfortunately, this also means that we can't utilize the red cards that will double or triple our damage, since it turns 1 damage into 2 or 3, which fails to trigger Nixilis' ability. We want to avoid decking ourselves out because our commander exiles a card from our library every time this effect happens. In order to do that, instead of using effects that will hit a single opponent, we want to focus on ones that will hit each opponent at the same time. So the first effects we can look at are the cards that will make our opponents lose 1 life each upkeep. Creeping Bloodsucker, Ill-Gotten Inheritance, and Subversions are the only cards that will do this. I was actually surprised because I thought there would be more. Cryptolith Fragment is a 3-cost mana rock that will make each player lose a life when you tap it for mana of any color. Then there are a few creatures that have the same effect. Mardu Shadowspear, Pulse Tracker, Thornbow Archer, and Vicious Conquistador will deal 1 damage to each opponent when they attack. Pulse Tracker and Night Market Lookout will deal that damage when they become tapped, which includes attacking. Volderin Epicure and Cauldron Familiar will deal the damage when they ETB, and all of those creatures cost 1 mana to get out, and they'll probably earn a place in any deck list for this commander. Impact Tremors becomes an auto-include since it will deal 1 damage to each opponent whenever a creature ETBs under your control. Bantu's Monument will make each opponent lose a life, and we gain life whenever we cast a creature spell, and lowering the cost of our black spells at the same time. Now obviously, since we're working with such small creatures and putting them out pretty quickly, they're going to die very easily. So of course, we'll lean into Aristocrat strategies to capitalize on that and close out our games more quickly. Meathook Massacre, Zulaport Cutthroat, Bastion of Remembrance, and Sir Conrad the Grim are all the Aristocrat staples we can use, but since we're in red, there are some fun cards we get to use. Carter Doomscourge is a creature that goads all of your opponent's creatures when it comes out, and it also says whenever an attacking creature dies, each opponent loses a life and you gain 1 life. This will happen with our opponent's attacking creatures also drawing you more cards and making Nixilis bigger as long as he sticks around. Garna Bloodfist of Keld is a weird kind of modal card, and I dig it. Whenever another creature you control dies, you can draw a card if it was attacking. If it wasn't attacking, Garna will deal 1 damage to each opponent instead. Since we're talking about attacking creatures, we can look at cards like Cavalcade of Calamity, Raid Bombardment, and Hellrider. All 3 cards will deal 1 damage to the player you're attacking with various conditions. Since our opponents are going to have blockers that can very easily block our creatures, if we still want to lean into attacking, or if we want to create more fuel for the Aristocrat strategy, we can also lean into token creatures. But unfortunately, the most effective ones for our deck are most likely going to be Devil tokens, and they're also the most inefficient. There are also only 10 cards in the entire Magic library that will make them. Zariel, Archduke of Avernus, is a planeswalker for 2 and 2 red that will make them with their 0 loyalty ability. Pugnacious Pugilist is a 4/4 for 3 and 2 red that will make a tapped and attacking devil token when it attacks. Once Nixilis gets to be a very scary size, your opponents are going to want to take it out. But since you should be exiling a large number of cards that can be played until your next end step, we still want to be swinging with him to bait out removal. And as long as your opponents can see that a protection spell is exiled and available for use, they'll either do nothing about the attack or cast right into our protection. Black has plenty of cantrips like Armor of Shadows or Battle Rage Blessing that will give Nixilis indestructible at instant speed. But since we're seeing more and more exile effects, Hexproof and Shroud may become more important. In our colors, Hexproof strictly comes from equipment like Swiftfoot Boots, Mirror Shield, and Champion's Helm, and the same is true for Shroud with Lightning Greaves, Cloak and Dagger, and Whisper Silk Cloak. But Whisper Silk Cloak has the added benefit of making Nixilis unblockable, which can be terrifying if you can buff him at instant speed with the Aristocrat strategy. However, something like Psychotic Fury or Raking Claws would be funny too, since they would give your commander double strike. To help our smaller creatures get through more easily, something like Zagra's Thief of Heartbeats or Archetype of Finality might be worth an include, since it will give your other creatures Death Touch, even though they're very mana-hungry cards. Since we'll be drawing a lot of cards, well, sort of, and we have very few mana-hungry cards, generating treasure is going to be pretty important also. Impulsive Pilfer, Forsworn Paladin, Shambling Ghast, Horde Robber, and Wily Goblin all fall in line with our primary strategy with 1/1 creatures while making us treasure at the same time. Guild Artisan will be a great include since Ob Nixilis has Flying and Trample, making it very safe to attack, especially when he'll be getting bigger as turns go on. Honestly, I think that will be the core of many decks for Ob Nixilis Captive Kingpin. The rest of the cards in those decks are a matter of ramp choices, removal, or flavor, depending on whether you want to lean into aristocrats or attacking. I enjoy Rakdos, so I might build a full deck for this, but since I'm already rebuilding Kalain Reclusive Painter, I might not worry about Ob Nixilis until I pull him from a pack or he's a super cheap single. But that's about it. Let me know what you think of Ob Nixilis Captive Kingpin in the comments below and how you might build the deck. Maybe you can clue me in on some tech that I might have missed as well. But anyway, like the video if you liked the video, dislike it if you disliked it, and until next time, I'm Space Coconut, and you're welcome.